I heard previews of this game describe it as Transformers XCOM, and that made me think that it might be okay. I made a terrible mistake purchasing this game, and I'm here today to tell you not to do the same. It is a bad strategy game. The difficulty is almost non-existent. The only thing that they can do is endlessly throw reinforcements at you because they don't know how to tune difficulty. There are a variety of upgrades to purchase in the shop by using currency you get for finishing story missions, of which there are 20, which took me about 6 hours to beat. And practically none of them are of any use whatsoever. Like, the problem is that you only have 6 characters, only 3 on the field for practically every mission, and they can only have 2 abilities at one time. So say you decide to unlock the Fire Breath ability of Grimlock, because it sounds really cool, breathes fire across a wide area, damaging all enemies. He has to lose one of his abilities to be able to use that. Let's see, let's hop into Killing Wave here. Picker Squad. It's all locked because you can't choose anyone else. So yeah, every character has 2 abilities. So if you decide to unlock Overwatch, because Overwatch is a really useful skill in tactical turn-based RPGs, then you have to let go of the ability to just shoot. Like, everyone has a regular shoot. You can get stuff like Suppressive Fire, but then you lose the ability to just shoot. And everyone has a special ability where you can spend extra AP to do some fun things, like do some status effects. But again, those are the only 2 abilities you have. The status effects are poorly defined. They won't really tell you what they do until you actually use them for the first time, because then you can hover over the units affected.
Which is how I became ensnared by that odious.
Hold up, Grim.
You also can't skip cutscenes, which is really nice for if you fail a mission, due to a variety of really bad objectives.
Okay, human. This is Energon will when the meter.
Yep. Tutorial. So yeah, at the moment we have 2 units, and our objective is to defeat the Decepticons. Can I turn the tutorial off here? It's still tutorialized. Cool.
Yeah. Time to show. Now select.
Grimlock charge!
So you might see this gameplay and be tricked into thinking this is a fun game. But that little bar at the bottom for your abilities, that's all you get. That's all you ever have. It's 2 abilities and your ultimate, which takes some time to charge up. So you got your basic attacks, which only ever do 2 or 3 damage, and there's no way to improve that. And then the enemy does stuff. Now you might notice some jumping around of the camera here. The game's frame rate is also really bad. The biggest crime this game has is it's just incredibly dull because there's very little you can actually do.
Come on, Windblade can't be far.
Grimlock, go now!
So this is how the majority of missions play out. Is you've got 2 stages to it. One where you have to reach a destination area, which here you can see in the red, and then ones where you have to defeat enemies to progress. Which is fair enough, that's how most of these turn-based games boil down to anyway. The problem is that, as I said, because they can't balance difficulty very well, you don't have any growth for your abilities to be able to deal more damage, to be able to alpha strike things. So all they do is just throw infinite bad guys at you. I also like how since I turned off the tutorials, the tutorial on the top of the screen hasn't went away. There's a couple of little things in here that are still implemented Breach, where you can maneuver enemies around by pushing them, but generally speaking, they're not very useful. They're very situational. Can I hit anything? Can't hit anything. So because I don't have an Overwatch ability for Grimlock, can't do anything with him. All I can do is pass the turn. Good thing I pushed him away. He just walked back up to me and hit me. There's also no terrain destruction, because again, that might make things interesting. Over the course of the game, I also discovered a lot of problems with cover. There's no to-hit chance here. It's literally a case of if you're in range, you hit. You can use cover to block attacks from a certain direction, but I'd often find that bad guys could just hit me at a 45-degree angle where I could not hit them. And of course, that's fun. Shoot some rockets. How exciting and dynamic. Also, I hope you like the music you're listening to, because it plays in, I think, maybe 2/3 of the missions.
No problem.
I remember there being at least 3 different tracks. Let's shoot that car. And blow all that Decepticon. So we can kill enemies quite reliably, often before they even get a chance to act against us. But the game just keeps dropping them in. There'll normally be a tutorial on the top of the screen around about this point that says, like, you can't kill them all. You need to get out of here. Reach the destination. That's not wrong. That is what you have to do, because it just keeps spawning enemies infinitely otherwise. It's just so dull.
Charge!
It's also slow paced. Like, there's a fast forward movement button for when the enemies are doing stuff, but not when you're doing stuff. You just have to wait and sit through it.
Got optics.
And as you can see, it just keeps dropping in guys. Like, it's utterly blatant padding is what it is. Because if it didn't constantly drop in guys, you'd just spend most of your time double moving across the maps to get to the objective. It's just so boring. It does the same thing in boss fights as well. Like, you'd be fighting against a cool transformer like Soundwave, and there'll be 4 or 5 other small transformers in the area. And you're like, I know, I'll murder them to give myself some space to breathe to fight the boss. And it'll just drop in reinforcements again and again and again. And there's instances of it across my playthroughs that I streamed, but there were times where the objective was to defeat all Decepticons, and I would defeat the last Decepticon, and then the game would just drop in more of them. Along the lines of, yeah, this mission hasn't taken long enough for you yet, so here, have some more. And it's just so mediocre and drab and boring. And there's often a lot of things that the game is just missing information on, like you can inspect units, so let's inspect this guy. So you can see he has a blaster, it does 2 damage. What's his attack range? How far can he move with his AP before he uses his abilities? He has a strike from away. How far can he reach? Who knows? Sure, why would inspecting an enemy tell you anything useful like that? So, let's proceed to the next area. Get a third party member. And you also get some health back, because, you know, there's no way to heal your characters at this point in the game. So you just get fully healed. And all those guys behind us just disappear.
B, heads up. I picked up a tail. We're coming in hot.
And then there's so much cheesy dialogue. Like, there were times where I was able to predict what the script was going to say to the word, because it's just cliche and it's just miserable throughout. Just trust me, don't get this game. It's very short. There's only 20 missions, took me 6 hours, and that was on the regular difficulty. Hard difficulty just makes things have more health and take longer to kill. There's an arcade mode, which apparently is 2-player, but you have to play with people in your house because there's no online support. And honestly, anyone you ask to play this with you is not going to be your friend for very long. And it's just terrible in every single way. Like, the other thing as well is the cool skins I've got, they're all for the DLC. There's no in-game unlocks like skins, hidden characters. Like, there's no option to go through the game with more people you unlock afterwards, or even play as the Decepticons. Nothing like that. It's just cheap, low-budget misery. And it's not worth 40 to 50 euros. Just so disappointing.